Welcome back, my peace, love, and happiness seekers. Before we begin, take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, let yourself arrive here for a moment. No rushing, no fixing, no catching up. Just be in this moment. Because if life has been feeling especially busy lately, this episode may help you understand why. Welcome to the Feel Good, Stay Consistent podcast, a space where we slow things down, make sense of overwhelm, and find a more supportive way to take care of ourselves. Do your days feel rushed before they've even begun? Like, no matter how much you accomplish, there's always something else waiting for your attention. Another task, another responsibility, another thing to keep up with. And even when you finally sit down, your mind keeps going. That constant feeling of there's not enough time. For many people, it has become a way of living. But what if it's not just your schedule? What if this feeling of urgency has become your nervous system's normal? In my early 20s, I was fired from one of my first jobs. I remember walking from my cubicle to speak to my supervisor, and then everything went black. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a stretcher, being wheeled into an ambulance. At the hospital, the nurse struggled to insert an IV because my veins had collapsed. I was severely dehydrated. And when they asked when I had last eaten, I realized it had been 2 days. Not because I was intentionally fasting, not because I didn't have access to food. I was simply too busy. At the time, I was moving, ending a relationship, starting a new job, and emotionally trying to hold everything together. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, I convinced myself I didn't have time to take care of myself. Looking back now, I realize it wasn't just about forgetting to eat. It was about what I believed. I believed at that time everything else mattered more than me. I needed to prove myself. I had to keep everything together. And slowing down meant falling behind. So I kept going. I ignored what my body needed. I ignored how overwhelmed I felt. And eventually my body forced me to stop. And maybe in your own way, you've experienced something similar. Not necessarily physically collapsing, but emotionally, mentally, energetically. How often do you put yourself last and call it responsibility? How often do you override your own needs just to keep everything moving? When we live in constant urgency, something begins to happen internally. We disconnect from ourselves. We stop checking in. We stop noticing how we actually feel. And slowly, life becomes more about reacting than consciously choosing. You begin rushing instead of leading, surviving instead of living, performing instead of feeling connected. And over time, this state of stress starts to feel normal. But your nervous system has never said yes to any of this. Actually, it was never designed to stay in constant pressure. When your body lives in a chronic stress state for too long, even basic self-care can begin to feel difficult. Not because you're incapable, but because your system is overloaded. And this is why so many professionals struggle with consistency. Not because they don't care, but because they've normalized survival mode. So right now, I want to invite you into a small pause. Take a breath in and slowly exhale. Now ask yourself, where in my life have I been moving too fast to truly support myself? Where in my life have I been moving too fast to truly support myself? Don't judge the answer, just notice. Awareness is where change begins. You do not need to earn rest. You do not need to wait until burnout forces you to slow down. And you do not need to prove your worth through exhaustion. Sometimes the most powerful shift you can make is choosing to stop abandoning yourself in the middle of your busy life. Breaking the cycle, specifically the busy cycle, doesn't happen all at once. It happens through small moments of awareness, moments where you pause, breathe, reconnect, and remember that your well-being matters too. Because consistency becomes possible when your life starts feeling more supportive, not pressured. You are allowed to slow down enough to hear yourself again. And sometimes that's the very thing that helps you move forward differently. If this episode resonated with you, take a moment before you move on. Let something from this land. You don't need to do everything. You just need to start with one small shift. And if you'd like more support, you can explore the Feel Good, Stay Consistent blog for deeper insights, or read my monthly reflections on Substack. Until next time, I'm Ingrid Herbert. Take care of yourself in a way that actually feels supportive, and I'll see you in the next episode.